Hi, my name is Julia Clements, and I'm a nurse at Elders Nursing and Rehab. And I'm here to propose a project for our rehab that would change the menu and the way that we feed our residents. At the current time, our staff does a wonderful job trying to prepare good, healthy foods for our residents, but sometimes there's a lack of nutrition on the trays, there's a lack of interest in the trays, and the trays tend to go back with food on them and the residents remaining hungry. So food is a necessity for all of us, especially those of us who are in a rehab or nursing home. What we're there is usually with other comorbidities, so we need to have good, healthy nutrition to keep our bodies and minds going. Without healthy nutrition, there are definitely some side effects that can come with that. One of them being the inability to thrive. We don't get that energy from our food, so we decide we just want to lay in bed. We don't want to eat, which in turn causes us just to kind of give up. All of these issues without the nutrition lead down the same road. Our muscle tone goes away, and we just don't have any more interest. The next is falling. If we don't have that nutrition, the good nutrition, then we are apt to fall when we're getting up because we're just not strong enough. And we also have altered mind status, which puts us at a risk for falling, which can cause trips to the hospital, broken bones, and sometimes that can lead to death, which we definitely don't want to do. We want our residents to have a good quality of life, so that would mean giving them good nutrition, maybe offering them choices, giving them finger foods, creativity with plating our dishes to try to encourage them to want to eat. Giving them choices, they have that control, whereas being in a nursing home, people don't always have any control, so this gives them a little bit of time when they can control what they want to have. So my idea is to create a newer, healthier menu, and that would require different ingredients, different food choices, and different people helping us. So we also want to educate our staff. We want to have them be able to encourage them, learn different communication skills, offer different snacks instead of the regular cheese and crackers or puddings that sometimes just are easy out for giving our residents. So the first thing that we have to do is we need to look into hiring some personnel. I would be the project manager, and I would oversee the whole entire project from start to finish. We would have to hire a full-time nutritionist, and the nutritionist would hopefully have a background in elderly residents, their comorbidities such as heart disease, diabetes, because they do require a certain kind of food to help keep them strong. Heart, you need low sodium. Diabetes, you need low sugar intake. So that would be really important that they would have a background in that particular clientele. We would also be looking at hiring, and this would be more of a part-time or temporary position for a chef instructor, as well as being able to help them learn in the kitchen how to cook different meals, how to plate, not like the fancy plating, but somehow make it a little more presentable for our clientele to be able to want to eat, want it to look good, and want it to taste good. So those are a couple that we would be hiring. The chef, we're looking at probably more so a temporary position, a few months to get things started, and then a consultation period so that if our kitchen staff had questions, they could always call them to ask them what that might be to help them. We would also include our CEO. She would kind of oversee everything because she oversees everything at the nursing and rehab as it is now. Sit in on the meetings, watch the reports as to if we can cut down on hospital visits, medication changes, pressure sores, all that kind of stuff that can happen with not the best of nutrition. Also, we would want our speech and language pathologist to be available, as we do have some residents that have swallowing problems. So we want to make sure that our residents have that behind them so that they don't get served something that will make them choke, which could cause further issues of aspiration, and that would maybe go into pneumonia, which we don't want that to happen. So our speech person is very, very important. And then we would also need to have our LNAs and our nurses on board so that we all learn how we need to handle our food choices, handle our menus, handle our clientele that just may not be interested in eating, to try to spark their interest in getting nutrition into them. So that would be our personnel for the time being. We are looking at approximately starting mid-July, once we have approval, the hiring process, and some informational sessions to try to see where we're going to go with this. So mid-July to the beginning of August looks like our time period for that. And then beginning of August, we would go through almost the end of August, starting to have some planning meetings with a nutritionist. They can look at what we're serving now compared to what we maybe should be serving, as well as the chef coming in to make sure that they're feasible menu choices. Obviously, there's a budget at a nursing home, so we want to make sure that the food fits into that budget, as well as it's safe and tasty for our residents. Hoping that for August 16th, we can actually implement the new menu and start serving our residents this new menu, have everything in place, and see how they like to have our new menu. This works out good around holiday time, Thanksgiving, going into Christmas, trying to get some new menu choices to entice them to want to eat, kind of keep them healthier, have less falls, give them a better quality of life. We would also have 2 evaluation sessions with our residents to see how it's going. We want to give this a couple month time period to give them the chance to actually see the change, taste the change, see if they like it, or maybe they have some suggestions that they want to give. So end of October to beginning of November, have our first set of evaluations, talk to our residents, see where they're going, talk to our CEO to see if our medication changes, our trips to the hospital, our illnesses, our pressure sores, our falls, if all of those have kind of dropped in that time period. Then we would also have another evaluation session mid-December to again look at those same things to see how our time period is going and how meals are coming along. This leads us into the holidays, so maybe we could get some fancier foods in there for the holiday to give them a little brighter meal time. And then at the beginning of January, we would do our final evaluation to see how our whole project went over. The evaluation phase would be to see how the overall quality has improved with our food, to see if our clients, residents, are physically more healthy as far as they can be with the other comorbidities, if they're more active, if they're more alert, if they've had less falls, if they've had less illnesses, the whole picture to see how they've come along. We want to be able to reduce all of those things to give them a great quality of life while they're living there and enjoy the time that they have. So this is looking like the budget price would be a total of $93,500. And this includes hiring a full-time nutritionist. We would definitely want them to have experience as a nutritionist, as well as, like I mentioned, the health problems of heart disease, diabetes, vascular disease, anything that would require that they have a special diet. Heart and diabetes are the main thing That's really important because you don't want to feed them bland food just because they are diabetics and can't have sugar. You can spice it up another way. Our next is the culinary instructor chef. We're looking at just a temporary 6-month or so position. We're looking at $18,000 for that. I think I mentioned the nutritionist was about $56,000 a year, depending on their experience, but that's the median price. Chef is about $18,000. And me being the project manager, this would be a 6-month time period of being the project manager, and that we're looking at about $12,000 for the salary. And the CEO, an extra $1,000 thrown in for the extra meetings, the planning sessions, the evaluations, as well as staff, $6,500. And that would be if they have to come in on personal time for information sessions, education, the kitchen staff learning different cooking techniques. The chef would offer some side sessions to give them some ideas of what they might want to cook differently. So the total budget is looking at $93,500. And hopefully with all of this happening, that we can come to the conclusion that having a better nutrition plan, a healthy, nutritious diet with choices, creativity, and interest in eating, that our residents' health can improve as well as their quality of life. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you like our presentation.